I'd like to welcome you to our live instructional webinar designed to support the school annual program. Today we'll be focusing on functions that relate to building activity or candid pages. Specifically, we will be reviewing page bleeds and margins, toolbar, the design function, templates, click and go templates, custom templates, and themes. This webinar will be approximately 45 minutes, so let's go ahead and get started. So let's first talk about page margins. So here we have the page margins pulled up on the screen right here. So everything, this green area right here, everything inside this green area will be considered safe. So any images right here, or right here, or right here will be safe to print. These will be viewable with no problem or anything like that. Once you get into this area right here, this is where some images may have some issues. This orange area is kind of a caution area. This red area right here is where the bleed line will start. There is a 1/8 inch bleed line. There's a plus and minus there. That bleed line, that cut line could be anything from can differ because of the way the paper was loaded, the sharpness of the blade, the person, the machine. Could be a lot of factors there. So um, when you're placing images this close to the edge, please take in mind that there is that, like I said, that 1/8 inch cut line right there. So one of the things you may run into is the student right here may have some of their head that's right here that's cut. So you may have missing portions of this image right here and right here. Um, so that's one thing to take in consideration in case you don't want a parent or someone complaining that some of their kids images missing or removed from this because of that bleed line right there, that cut line. The other reason why we have this bleed line right here, this in this gray area, is we'll talk about this when we talk about backgrounds, is because anything that comes all the way up to the corner right here and on the edge will help in the printing when we do that 1/8 inch cut. Because the last thing we want, and I'm just going to grab the little text box right, well, little shape box, because the last thing we want is bring it right up here, and then have right there in that red would be the white paper. So the last thing we want is make it look like the page wasn't printed right; it was shifted in the print, or you may end up with something like this, where it's all the way over to the edge, but the top of the edge may have this like white strip all the way across it, like the print was printed too low on the piece of paper. And so that's why we have this gray area right here. So when we say to take everything past the bleed line, like a background or some an image or anything like that, you want to make sure that's there so that way there's nothing else showing right here. And like I said, when we talk about backgrounds, we'll explain more about that right there. Okay, so we're going to move on to some. Oh, here real quick, and let me show you what I mean by the cut line and everything else. Like, so we'll go right there. We'll come out. Here we go. So we're going to do that, and I'm going to save this, and then I'm going to come up to our view as a PDF, and then we can view this as a PDF. So you'll see this black and white line right here. That's the cut line right there, and it'll even say trim line. So there, like I said, there is a 1/8 inch plus or minus. So you can already see right here, this student right here, half her image will be gone through this cut line. The top of his head, the top of this person's head, and then the side of this one student. So that's something definitely to look at when you're putting images on there. Take a moment to view as a PDF and then view that image and view the page and see where that cut line is and see where those images are to make sure that a student isn't being removed or some of their image isn't going to be trimmed. Um, all that. So there we go. Okay, so let's talk about some designer basics. Let's kind of go around this whole area right here. We'll talk about the toolbar. We'll talk about some of the stuff on the sides here. We'll talk about some of the things on the pages you're seeing. So so let's start with file right here. Under file, you will find several different things. First off is the save. You can also find the save button right here. So if we move this, the save button is lit up here under file. It's also lit up right here. So we can click on that, save the page. Here we have save as a template. We'll talk about save as template and click and go here shortly. That's actually one of the next things we'll talk about. You can also click on view PDF, and you can also download this page as well. Under edit, you can click on undo or redo. Your undo and redo buttons are right here. You can also, we have the traditional, the cut, copy, and paste. We also have the delete. We also have the trash can right here that's also delete. So if you click on something, you can also click on the trash can to delete it. And then, of course, the undo and redo right there to bring it back. Here we can change background. We'll talk about changing backgrounds here shortly. Also, you can change shape. So if you have an image on here, but you want to maybe change the image. So instead of getting an image frame over here, which we'll talk about this section here shortly, instead of getting one of these over here and then finding this image again and then bringing it back, you can simply click on it, come to the edit, change shape to circle, and then you can image inside a circle. You can also do a spell check right here, or you can click on spell check. The spell check is not that robust. I'll just let you know that. It will not find any grammatical errors or anything like that. So it's not going to find it in it is or it's. So it's not going to find the possessive in the plural. It's not going to find like the theirs. So you're going to have to read your text and all that and make sure that everything is spelled correctly and is in there correctly. Right here we have select. You can select individual things. You can even just select all right here and everything will be selected. You can come over here to select images and it will just select anything that's an image right there, including any image frames. So just in case you want to select maybe just all the text box and delete all the text box on something. So you can do that. Instead of having to click on every single one, hit delete, click on the next one, hit delete. You can simply just come up to edit, select images, and then just delete your images. The next one we have view. Here we have, you can hide the rules, hide the margins. I'd keep that here. These are the rulers right here. So here you can click and hold on this and then actually bring down a guideline. So if you want to, you can set up a guideline there and set up another guideline here. And then you can get another image and line up an image, according to those guidelines right there. So this kind of helps you with the guidelines or inlining images up and stuff like that. Here at the bottom, if you have staff helping you out, and if you have staff that are assigned to individual pages, so right here, one of the things you can do is have all of your students go to single pages. And the reason why you may want to have them go to single pages is to avoid a save conflict error. If someone is on this page and they save it, so if I'm on this page and I save it first, and then you're working on the other side of the page and you go to save, it's going to pop up that somebody else has already claimed this page. And so that's what the save conflict error is that now that I have ownership of the page, everything you have done now will need to be saved as a template and you'll have to wait for me to get off the page before you can save everything. So to avoid that, have both of your students or helpers go to view and single page. So now we'll turn that into a single page. I can freely work on this page while the other person can freely work on the next page. And then that way they can save it without any save conflict errors, and we don't have to worry about wait for the other person to excuse me, any person to get done with theirs before they can put their information back on. Here we have arrange. So if we get some photos exactly right where we want them, we can click on that, holding the shift. We can click on another one. First, we have lock and unlock. So we can actually lock these images into place. So anytime you see a red border with a little lock right there, that means these have been locked. And so we can go to arrange and unlock them. Also under arrange, we can group. So anytime you see dotted yellow line like this, excluding the flow element, these are all grouped. So we will talk about click and goes and the importance of looking for this when you're selecting certain templates. We can also ungroup. Here we have the align, so we can align these to the left. We can align these to the middle. The only thing we do not have is the even distribution. So we can't take like 3 images and make sure they're distributed evenly across the page. That's something we have asked for, but we just don't have that. The arrange right here, we can send something to the back, something to the front. So if we have this image right here and I want to move that and I kind of want this image to be on top of this image, I can come up to arrange and then just bring to front, and then you can bring that image to the front. The uh, the layers, just think of it as like layers of a cake. You have the bottom part, you have and then to the next level, the next level, the next, just tiers. So that's the best way to think of this. So if you have something like this and you're wondering how far up do I need to bring this one, you can do uh, bring forward once, or you can just bring to front. Here under transform, you can flip the image. You can either rotate the images if you want. You can also, there is this little box right here at the very top of the image. You can actually rotate the image that way as well. And of course, here are the undo, redo, spell check, print preview, and the save right there. Now let's talk about these buttons right here. So one of the first page, the first one right here is pages. So these are all the pages of your yearbook. So this is simple for you to go over here and you can go to the next page and start working on your next page instead of having to come up to plan, ladder, scroll down, find the page you want, click on that page, and then start working on it. This just allows you to go from page to page as quick as possible. Under design right here, we will go ahead and talk about templates here real quick. So here, let me go to the next page and okay, so let's talk about templates right here. So these are my templates, and I'll show you how to get your own templates right here. So under the templates right here, you will see one that's called Page Surfer. So under Page Surfer, you have like candids, clubs and organizations, gallery, openings and dividers. So we're going to click on clubs and organizations right here. Here you will have different kinds of templates that are already done for you. So all you'll have to do is change text, drop some image in. So to do that, all you have to do is click and hold, drag this over, and then you will see right here it says retain existing content. Do you want to retain existing content on new templates? It'll ask you yes or no. So let's see what that's like. Let's come over here. And so here we have backgrounds already placed on the page. Now to understand what that little pop-up is, let me demonstrate that for you. So let me come down to the template we were going to pick. So if I click this and bring it over here, again, it asks me, do you want to retain the existing information? So if I click no, So one of the things you will see right here is that background is now gone. When I click no, I said, no, I do not want to retain anything that's on the page. I want the page to be blank in favor of this brand new template. So that's what happened. Everything will be deleted off that page in favor of this brand new template. Now, if I take the other side of this and I come over here and I say, yes, keep everything that's current on this, and I click on yes, you will see that the background is still there because it kept everything that was on the page. Let me show you here. So again, if I go over to designs and I come down here to this one, and this time I have an image on here. Oh, let me click on save. So if I come over here and I say yes, images on that page, it will find a spot for it. So it will put that image somewhere where it will fit. So that's one thing to take into consideration when you're using images and you find, templates, and you move templates on there. So if you don't want anything that's currently on the page to interfere with this template, just click no, and that way um, it will delete everything in favor of this new template. Now let's say we made this template. We made a custom template, and I want to use this template on every single page. Or if you found a template and you want to save this template and use it on multiple pages, not just this one. So what you can do is come over here to File, Save as a Template, and let's say we're going to do class photo page. So we're going to call this like the class photo page. And then we're going to make sure both pages are selected because we want both pages. And then we're going to click on Save. Now, if we come over here to Custom, My Templates, this class photo page is right here. I'm going to click Save. And then here we are on the page that I want to put this on here. So I'm going to click and hold, drag it onto the page, let go. It's going to ask me, do I want to retain? I'm going to say no. And now that template is on the page right here. So again, we just go ahead and save, go to this next page, drag it on there. And now we have, if we look back over here, we're going to click on save. So now we have this template on several different pages. We don't have to reinvent anything. We don't have to remake anything. We don't have to redo anything. We save it as a template, drop it on other pages, and then all we have to do is go back and just personalize it for maybe like first grade, then second grade, then third grade. All right. So next, let's talk about click and go templates right here. So let's go back under design. And instead of page designer, let's go to click and go right here. So we have cover to cover, headlines, infograph. So we can click on infograph right here, and you can click and hold and drag this over right here. So this infograph right here could have like favorite lunch or something like that, or favorite activity during recess, or favorite whatever. And that's something you can just drop in a corner. You can come out over here and say and drop this and say favorite um, daytime television show, while we're sick or whatever. So this could just be different things right here. So one of the things you will notice on this, and I'm going to zoom in just a little bit. Maybe not that personal. There we go. So zooming in on this, here you can see a dotted yellow line all the way around it. That means this has been grouped. So with it still selected, we're going to come over to Arrange. We're going to click on Ungroup. And then here you can see that all these small little elements made this one big click and go. Now this is you can edit it. It's now editable. So now you can go in, change any content on it. Then once you're done, if you want, you can highlight it. Here you have the group, and in this toolbar that pops up, here you have the group, And you also have the ungroup icon. So if you instead if you don't want to go to edit and then group or ungroup, you can just actually click these little buttons right here to the side. All right. So we're actually going to make a headline here. So we're coming down to art, and we're going to talk about different things in art, and as we make our own little click and go. So here we're going to come down to an image frame. So we can click and hold and drag an image frame over. This is called an image frame because you can see the mountain and the sun inside this little square, just like a picture, or this is inside a frame, thus a image frame. So this is actually for our teachers right here. So I'm going to put the image right there. Then I'm going to come over here to shape box, click and hold, drag this over, set this up, and I want to do something like this. Bring it over to the page, but that's sitting on top of here, so I know to go over to arrange and send that to the back. So then I can always bring a text box right here. This is your text box. These are the styles that were made using a couple of your fonts. So I can click and hold and drag that over to here. And then I can do that under align. And I'll go in more detail with the text and all that here pretty soon because there are a lot of things you can do with the text. So let's say I created something as simple as like this, and I want to save this as a click and go because I want this as my headline for all the teachers. So what I can do is click and hold, do a drag and select all these, or I can select right here, holding down the shift key. I can select this box, and I can select the text box as well. I come over here to File, Save as click and go, give this a name, and then click on Save. Then this way, when I go to the next page, then I'm going to get rid of all of that. I'm going to come over here to Edit, then Select All, and Delete. Come over here to Design, Custom, My Click and Go. Here we have the click and go that we created. I'm going to click and hold, drag this over to the page. I can move it into position. Then all I have to do is, with it still selected, come over here to ungroup. And I can ungroup that, type in what I need to do, put in whatever image I need to put in. So this is if you want to create your own click and go, your own header, your own information, your own little section. You can do that, highlight everything, and then save that as a click and go, and then that way you can drop it on different pages without having to make a whole entire page. You can make just sections of a page, and that's what the click and go is for. You, instead of making this whole thing and then saving this whole thing as one page, again, you can just save this as one little part of the page, and then just drag and drop in different sections of the page that you want. Because it could be that you want to set the page up like this, but the next page you will kind of want to do a little flip-flop. So it all depends on how you want to set up the page and make it your own and make it personal. All right, so continuing on here we have images right here. Under images, you can go to different folders right here and access your different images. You can also access images under portrait as well by clicking this little arrow and accessing the folders underneath the word portrait. So under art, here you have the image frame. Here you have different shapes. You also have clip art right here. The clip art library is open for you to use. You can use anything and everything in the clip art. So just because you have a cover, let's say you have the blocks cover. You're not stuck with the items underneath blocks. You are free to use anything and everything under by cover, by category, by theme, by type. You can use anything and everything underneath there. All right, so you can use all that information. If you did pick one of our covers, your backgrounds and your everything else will be underneath here um, under by cover. And then by themes, if yours is nature, then anything nature related would be underneath here, or you can look under any uh, other theme that you want to find whatever you need. Right here we have snert. We have the search. Right here we have search. So here we can search. Say we want a tree, so we can search tree, and this will pull up any and all trees or anything that's been labeled as tree. So we can click and hold and drag that right there. So if we move on and then we come back and we're like, oh wait, where did I find this image, or where did this image come from, or where can I see that I forgot what I searched to find this image? Very simple. You can right click, go to manage information or manage image, come down here to view in image library. So we're going to click on that, and here it will take us to the page or the folder that has that image in it, so you can find the other ones. And then it will say right here, you can see it says by theme, and then it has the folder that it's in. So if we went to art by theme and then scroll down here just a little bit, there we go, right here. It's actually highlighted for us. So now you can find it. So now you can just simply click the other tab and then go to your clip art by theme. We are by theme. Click on here, and then there we go. There's all the images associated with this particular clip art. All right, so let's talk about backgrounds. All right, so to add a background, we can do that one of two ways. We come up to art and then background. Our default backgrounds right here are the only ones you can do this with. So if you want to, if we go through this whole entire library right here, and so you could just go through, find any images or anything like that you want to do here. Um, as a hockey fan, I'm going to do this because we got the Four Nations game going on. So here we can click and hold, and we can pull over this background here. It actually is a background. I cannot click it. As soon as you click and hold and drag one of these over to the page, it automatically becomes a background. So I chose these because these two were in the championship for the Four Nations. Sorry, bit of a hockey fan. So here we go with these backgrounds. Now, if we don't like these backgrounds, we can go to two places here. We go to edit and change background, or we could go right click and change background, and we get this little pop up right here. So I'm going to actually remove these. So clicking on left page, going down here, we can see background color. We can click this little arrow right here to the side, and we can actually click on a solid color. So on any solid color we want. Now, one thing I want you to keep in mind when selecting one of these colors is the text. So if you get too dark of a color on your background, it will be kind of hard to see your text. Also, one of the things I want you to take into consideration is the text on your flow element here. Might be a little too hard to see. So if you get a background color that you really, really like, put text or put a box on something right there, and then kind of do a print preview, and then it will show up right here. Kind of take a look at it. It's like, can I read that? And just ask yourself, can I read that? Is it look good? Is it something that's legible? Is it something that I can clearly see the name against this background? If not, there's one thing you can do is right here at the bottom, the tint. You can change that tint a little bit. You can lighten it up just a little bit, save it, do another print preview, and then kind of take a look to see if that's a little more legible, a little easier to read. If not, we can just simply remove it and find another color and something else uh, to use. Next, we have choose image, so we can click on this. Here we have all backgrounds right here. These are all the backgrounds, the default ones that I just got done showing you. So here, all you have to do is click on it and then click on select right here. Before you do that, if you want to use like the left and right version of, say, this one, write down this number right here. So this would be 221. So we click on select right here, click on right page. And the reason is that way we don't have to sit here and try to go through and all that. So if we just type in 221, then right here we have the other page right here. So we can just select that and add that. If you ever need to remove a background, just click on remove. You can also go down here to clip art. Real quick, I'm glad I did that. If you click on clip art and you see this, there's no content to show. There is content there. This little arrow right here is a little finicky, so you make sure your cursor is actually on that area when you're clicking it. Those of you that chose one of our covers, you can just go down here to buy cover, and then your covers will be right here. Anything with a red box around it cannot be used as a background. So if you bring in your own custom backgrounds, and you can go out there and find your own stuff, bring it in to your image library and upload it as a background. But please keep in mind, if you see this red square right here, cannot be used. So you can click on the one you want, click on select, and there it is. Now right here underneath choose image, we have flip and rotate. So we can flip that. We can rotate that. We come over here to crop. So let's go back a little bit. And maybe we want to move that over here or move it over here. There we go. We also have snap edit, which I will show you snap edit for images here pretty soon. And then we have, of course, the tint, so you can actually lighten that up a little bit or darken it up, so whatever you want. And yes, even some clip art. Let's go to the right page right here. See if I can't find some clip art here real quick. Let's go by category, academics, books. So this little piece of clip art can actually be used as a background. So there are some clip arts that can be actually used. All right, so let's get into some more detailed work that you can do. Let me come over here. So let me bring a text box over, shape box. And let's come over here. I'm going to bring in a photo. So first, let's talk about text, because I want to kind of explain some of these things on this toolbar that you get when you click on text. Click off of it, goes away. Click on it, comes back. I'm actually going to make this a little bit bigger because we're going to make our text a little bit bigger. Right up here in the top, we have the font. So you can actually change your font. I'm going to change it to my favorite one, Missouri Heavy. So right here, we can change the size of the font. So we can change right there. We can change it to right here. So if you ever see a red X right here, what this means is your font is larger than the text box can display. So you may have to lower that down just a little bit. Right here we have the color. So I can actually, by default, it's the text fill is always selected first. So I can come over here and select the text fill to any color I want. So I'm actually gonna come over here. I'm actually gonna select, I'm go down here to this blue color right here. All right. Then you can actually come over here to text stroke right here, this letter A right here. And then I'm going to select black. So it will put a black line around the lettering. Also, you can come over here to shape stroke, and I'm going to do, let's do this nice little yellow color right here. So this will put a yellow line, yellow border all the way around. If I click on it right here, you will see stroke style and then a 1. That just changes thickness. Um, 5 is 5 is probably the most you may want to use. Anything more than that, I think it just becomes a little too much. So I think I try to go with a little less is more. So you can do something like that. You can also see right here shape fill. So we will come over here and maybe we want to fill that shape with a little lighter color right here. So you can actually have like a nice little header for the top of the page right here. Um, then over here we have the bold, italic, and underline. Some text will be able to bold. Other text, it is what it is, but I mean, I can go ahead and underline it, but that's about it. Align right here. Here I can align the text in the middle, uh, in the center, and then in the middle. So I can actually create a nice little header right here. Then I can always close that up. Now, if I need to, I can go to spacing and then maybe reduce the spacing down, and then maybe reduce the size of that box just a little more right there. And then under format and effects, here I can make it a little more transparent if you want. Now, the other thing you can do, and I'm actually going to do something like that so we can see it a little bit better. Under format and effects, we have this little box right here called drop shadow and glow. Under drop shadow, we can actually add a little bit of a shadow. So I'm going to bring the distance to the max. That's the way you can see it. And I may just zoom in just a little bit more. Um, there we go. I'm going to zoom in just a little bit so that way you can actually see it. But here we can actually see that I brought that over. So here I brought the distance to the max. That way, again, you can see that. Then the degree right here just changes where that shadowing is, or where the light is coming from. So it all depends on where you think the light should be, or whatever, if you want to get creative that way. Occupancy is I can make it a solid shadow, or I can lighten that shadow up. Usually about uh, 50-55 is comfortable. The blur is I can make it as blurry as I want, or I can make it as solid as I want. I like to keep it about a 10. I think that's a comfortable blur, enough of a shadow. Here we have glow, so we can actually click on glow, and I'm actually going to change that to it's bright. It's the occupancy is as solid as possible. Here we have a different color. We can actually click on. Let's see. I'm going to click on that right there, and then we can change the blur. That's not really visible. Let's click right there. There we go. So we can actually change the blur right there. If you do it right with the border, see if I can get this border to do this. If you do it right with the border, you can almost make like a neon sign look to it. Um, I'm able to do it, but it takes a little bit of time. But you can actually get a nice little neon glow look to that. So this is some of the things you can do with the border. well, with the text box, and add just a little more, just a little bit of something to the text box. So let's go over here to the shape box right here. The shape box, you can come over here, you can change the color of it. So if you have an image, you can actually add like a nice little border around the image without adding a border to the image. So this could be something just to accent piece. You can also, if you had another image, you can actually shrink that up right here. Put it like a, let's see, let me go over here. You can actually put like a buffer between these two images if you want to. So something like that, you can just add that like nice little buffer, nice little accent piece if you wanted to, just something a little artsy. You can also add a stroke. In this one, you can actually add a solid or a dotted line or a dashed line to it. And then here you can be just a little more pronounced with it. And then under, of course, under format effects, you can round the edges a little bit, do a little bit of a transparency, a little bit of a tint to it. Here you can do a drop shadow or a glow, so it's up to you. Now, next is images. Here with the images, we have a little more that we can do with these. Here we can add a border around it. Usually, like I said, about 4 or 5 around the images is fine. Any more than that, it starts getting into the image a little bit. So I think it's a little too much if you start getting into the higher numbers. We also have format effects, so you can actually round the edges there. Again, you can add a drop shadow to it. You can add a glow effect to this photo. Next is the snap edit tool. So here we can actually do something like a black and white photo if you want to. We can do like something old timey. We can actually do an overlay, and I will actually show you. Let's actually, I'm not going to save that. Let me bring over a piece of clip art for you. I'm going to show you the reason why the overlay function is nice. So I'm going to do this one, this piece right here. So we'll click on this, come over here to snap edit. I'm going to do overlay. Some of this clip art, you can actually change the coloring of this. So let's say I want more of like a blue color to this or a teal color to this. Maybe I want more of a blue color and I want to lighten that up a little bit, more of like maybe like a silver or a little shinier silver color to it. So I can hit save. This saves it as a copy, not it won't override the existing clip art. It just saves it as a copy of it. I can undo that and then go back to. Then I can do colorize, and then you can always change the color. You add a bit of a color to it. So you can always do either colorize or overlay and kind of change some of the coloring on some of these uh, pieces of clip art. So if you want something like that, something a little more red. All right. So with images right here, you can do that. You can also change the brightness. So if you have an image that maybe just needs a little bit more of a brightening up, the contrast, maybe bring the contrast up just a little bit, maybe lower that saturation just a little bit. So you can do a little bit. This is just a little bit of like a Photoshop feel to it. So you can change a little bit of things in the photo, not a lot. Something you can do also is come over here to mask, this little tab right here. So we're going to click on eraser. You can change the brush size right here or something a little bit right here. the tolerance, I would just leave the tolerance alone. First thing you could do is transparent. So if we wanted to, we can actually go back here, maybe delete this section of the photo. We don't need it, or it doesn't have any like real relevance. And then if we click on save, again, it will save a copy of the photo, not the actual photo. So here we have a little transparency. So here we can maybe put this image in, kind of right here next to this piece of clip art. Also, what we can do, let's say if we don't want that on there, that uh, masking on there, all we have to do is just reveal and take that mask off of there. Next thing under transparent is black and white. It's kind of one of the uh, neater things I think about this one is we can come over here, and then on the image if we could you can actually take your time with this one and make it look real good. So we can actually go around this image all the way around it. Then we can go out there. And then if you ever do something like that, again, just come to unerase. And then we can always go up here and then just undo what we did right there. We don't have to worry about clicking undo. And so as soon as we have this done up right here, we can click on save. And then here we have an image where we're highlighting one particular, like maybe one particular student or one particular activity. And then we can put everything else in the background in black and white in the background. Or if we want to highlight, like I said, maybe we want to just do, you could do the same thing with a group of students. So like I said, this could just be just something to be artistic about, and maybe just add a new element to your book, and maybe show off just like the students or the activity or whatever you need to show off. It's just something there for you to kind of use and play around with. All right, just checking my notes here, make sure that we covered everything. Now, one of the last things we're going to talk about is history, this little tab right here. So under history, you will see everything that was saved today. So everything, like I said right here, everything that was saved today, everything that was saved yesterday, or everything that was saved this week or last week. Here we have older versions. Here we have everything that was ever saved. So as we move on through the book, your older version will have, like I said, everything that was ever saved on this page. So if at any time I need to bring back a page, to say I want to bring it back all the way to this one page, I can click and hold, drag it on there, and then everything is back on that page. Or if I just want to bring it back to one of the first things I ever put on there, I can do that as well. And then all I do is save it. And then here it is on under today. Right here in this drop down, I can always move on to the next page and actually see what was on the next page. One nice little trick is I can actually go to like page 5 and actually click and hold and bring onto page 6 what was on page 5. So if I want something off another page, all I have to do is click and hold and just drag it on there. All right. So at this time, if you have any questions, you can take yourself off of mute or ask it into chat, and I can answer any of your questions or show you something that maybe you missed or something you need a little more explanation within the designer program or making a page.
I can jump in and go first. I have some questions about the cover in particular. Um, if I'm looking at my page ladder, should that be included as part of the
No,
pagination?
everything under here under your page ladder, these are all pages. Right
Okay,
here is the very first page that you will see
okay,
in the book. So as you flip open the cover, this page one will be the first page you see. It could be your dedication page. It could be, you know, welcome to such and such school with the principal's message on it and all that stuff.
okay. So then where does the cover live?
The cover, if you go to status and then cover, let's see if that. So this will be where your cover, if you have a custom cover, this is where it will be. Any cover information from one of our covers will be right here as well. So it will have
Okay,
what kind of cover you have, the size, the sewing, the number, number of personalization or number of copies, or all that information is right here. And if you have a custom cover, your custom cover will be pictured right here with a note that says, do you approve or unapprove, do not approve. It'll also have a box right there where you can type in, change it to this color, or this should have been on the left, not on the right, what have you. Then you can send it on.
okay, cool. That is very helpful.
Yep.
Um, I one of the things I'm looking right now at mine and it's all there. It's the right information except the under personalization it says black ink and I don't think that's what was on the mock-up. I think it was like reversed out, like white on black. Should I be
Okay.
concerned about that or just let it go?
Check with your. I would check with your rep and make sure that
Okay.
it's not just on there to be on there. That uh, that information had made it to somebody, and that maybe just be information that's on there just to be on there to fill a spot. So check with your rep to make sure that that's information that got to where it needs to go to.
Okay. And then do we get to see a like a preview with the cover incorporated or like is
No,
that part of a proof? No. Okay.
no. The
Interesting.
our covers, our personal covers that we have. Once you
Yeah.
put on your teacher information or your school name and your second line information, all that,
Yep.
that'll be the last time you see it until it's
Oh,
printed
okay.
because that cover is what it is. The standardized cover is what it is.
Okay.
So if we go here, and it's going to take me a second here. So like these covers right here may take a minute or two to load. So these covers right here, these are what they
Yeah.
are. The only thing it
Yeah.
will take is
So,
like maybe your school name right here. Um, or some of these may have like your school title in 2024, 2025. So these
yep.
are what they are. What you see is what you're getting right here.
Okay. Yeah, the one we're using is the first one, the agate, and that's why I'm wondering why it says black ink, just for the because it's not in black
It
ink.
could, yeah, it could be black ink on this white cover right here. Or it should be white ink over this black
Yeah.
spot right here.
We can follow up with the rep on it.
Yeah,
Um,
definitely follow up with your rep and make sure. So,
okay. Thank you.
no problem. So if anyone
I
has
do
any
have
other questions, yep, go ahead.
I have more, but I don't want to hog the floor
No, no,
here
no,
if
go ahead.
okay, I have a question. So when I'm looking at the page ladder, I see some pages have like a yellow underline and some have a red
So yellow is in
underline.
progress. So all these pages have something on them, or in this
Oh,
case, 4 and 5 had something on them at one point. So that's why they're in progress, because the designer doesn't know if you're intentionally leaving the page blank or are you putting something on there. or is like page 2 and 3 all you're doing with it? So that's why it says
Got
in
it.
progress. So anything in red is not started. It means nothing's been saved on it, nothing's touched those pages. So those pages are not started. Nothing's done with it. The next webinar, which I highly suggest for everybody to sign up for and attend, the next webinar is actually called finishing, well, the
Yeah.
final stages. So this is finishing your book, getting your book ready to submit and all that. Any pages not started will not let you submit your book. So
Okay.
that's why we have all this information right here.
Okay. Awesome.
So let me read this
Okay. I have
outro
an.
here real quick, and
Oh,
then I'll
I
just
have
turn off the
another.
recording. And then if you have
Okay.
any more questions, you can always ask it. So I want to thank you for joining us this afternoon. The demonstrations and the functions related to the creation of the activity pages may help when it comes time to build your yearbook. Using the templates already in the program and building your own templates could help save time and give the book continuity. Feel free to join us next time for the final steps of the yearbook building process. Thank you and have a great day.